Well, you know, it used to be a goodbye kiss in the morning and he was out the door, but now with many men out of work, and that includes my own husband, the wives are forced to share their world of managing the kids and the house, so I set out to see how other women are coping. Rob was working as a chemical engineer until he lost his job 2 months ago. Now he's at home with 2 kids working on his wife's last nerve. Would you say your routine has gotten easier or harder since Rob's been home?
It would just be easier if we just could get back to the way it was, because I was very wedded. It's like, this is when I'm doing this is when I'm doing that, and he has been kind of standing in the way of that.
That's not what I'm used to, and it's ruined my organization of thought.
With a home video camera, Sasha documented how her tightly run ship has capsized.
So, Sam is usually in bed at this time. So why is Sam not in bed at this time right now?
When Dad's not confusing bedtime with playtime, he claims to be useful getting the kids dressed.
This is the outfit that Alan went to bed in. It doubles both as pajamas now and an outfit to wear during the day. Rob, can you tell me a little bit about that choice? Things don't match, or they're like pajama bottoms and a regular top, or I don't know.
Is it that bad?
Rob's job loss has made Sasha's job tougher.
Is this how you wanted the pizza?
She's also had to play therapist.
He lost his job, but he's obviously down. Has that been hard on you?
He's been much snappier with me and with the kids. I think he's very surprised that the job search has been as difficult as it's been.
Just being unemployed and in general is it'll break you down.
So Sasha's not the only woman adjusting to what feels like a new roommate. Here at La Lanterna Cafe, a group of gals also living with their unemployed husbands got together to let off some steam over cappuccinos.
He's home and he's in my space and he's like, what are you doing? No, I have him like micromanaging everything I'm doing.
Is there kind of a loss of freedom?
I do feel a little bit like I'm being checked up on, or, you know, I'm just not used to answering to anybody.
Yeah. Sometimes the ladies feel like they're living with Big Brother. Sometimes it's more like a new baby.
It was suddenly, what is there for breakfast? What is there for lunch? Dealing with working around him, not just the kids and their noise. It's like having a fourth child.
And what was once their living space has become his office.
It is exhausting all day, finding play dates, like always going over to friends' homes and not ever having play dates at our home.
I feel like I never have any time to myself. I feel like I don't get anything done when he's home.
Yeah, a little gripe session. For some advice for Megan and all the other wives out there, we've asked today's contributing psychiatrist, Dr. Gail Saltz, to stop by. And Gail, this is actually the new reality. I mean, this is what so many couples are going through. And you'd think having the husbands at home would be helpful to a lot of women. But as we heard in that piece, a lot of women feel like their freedom is being taken away from them and they're being stepped on a little bit.
Yeah, this is like retirement, which is actually a really difficult time, because that's exactly what happens. Is you're in my space, you know, too much, get out, it upsets the balance. But it's worse, because he feels terrible, and actually what he often feels is kind of emasculated. Mm-hmm. So what we're talking about is a loss of roles, of identities here, and that is really very, very stressful for the relationship.
Megan, what was this like for you? I mean, you're living this right now with your husband.
There was this honeymoon period where you think, you know, this is kind of nice. You know, we're home together. This is unexpected time. My son can have lunch with his father. Mm-hmm. But there's something to be said for getting space from your spouse, and after a while, the novelty wears off and you wish that both of you sort of had your own interests again outside of the house. And I just think it's healthy. It's healthy to get some space, and after a while it feels confining. And there were some specific things that started to unravel in my life. My son, as soon as my husband stayed home from work, stopped napping. He used to be, 2 hours a day I could count on getting a break and getting things done. Mm-hmm. He was so stimulated that his dad was home, and many times my husband was in charge of getting him down, and I was maybe working longer hours, and he didn't quite seal the deal, and the nap went away. So that was a huge change in my day. Then there's the financial pressure that is a reality when you lose your job, and my routine would be go to the corner and get my favorite cup of coffee from the deli, and suddenly I'm coming home and my husband's saying, how much did that cost? We have a coffee maker. Yeah. So, your whole routine is being questioned. And
I think what you're bringing up and the other women brought up is this idea of micromanaging, that the truth is everybody has their ways of doing things. So it might be felt as micromanaging, but he's probably like, does it really matter if this unstructured pant is a pajama or a day pant? Does that really, is that such a big deal? but to a woman for whom that's what she's been invested in, and it has been, it's a different way of doing things, and that's where it becomes very difficult. It's about standing in each other's shoes, which is so hard to do when you're in the midst of a crisis.
Especially, I mean, for the men, it's such a blow to their self-esteem, as we heard the man say in the piece there, you know, that it really takes its toll on the guys. And you want to be supportive as his wife, but at the same time, you know, you yourself are in that situation where you are feeling stepped on.
And I think what a lot of women don't realize is they feel angry and upset because they don't see him as masculine anymore either. And that's a real struggle because they want to see him in the same role.
As the provider.
And it's and it's scary. And where it becomes very difficult. It's about standing in each other's shoes, which is so hard to do when you're in the midst of a crisis.
Especially, I mean, for the men, it's such a blow to their self-esteem, as we heard the man say in the piece there, you know, that it really takes its toll on the guys. And you want to be supportive as his wife, but at the same time, you know, you yourself are in that situation where you are feeling stepped on.
And I think what a lot of women don't realize is they feel angry and upset because they don't see him as masculine anymore either. And that's a real struggle because they want to see him in the same role.
As the provider.
And it's and it's scary, and then they're feeling scared.
I'm going to spell it J-O-B.
Job? I read the Bible.
Do you have to be a smart ass on every possible occasion?
Job. Okay, do we need to really go through that job situation?
Because it's not just about getting a job. It's about providing. That's what it is. I don't want to be the man in the relationship anymore, and that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling that I'm carrying all the responsibilities, and I don't want that.
I mean, dang, this is really adding up. I mean, these are...
Valerie, what are your thoughts on stay-at-home dad? We did this in the last one. What are your thoughts on stay-at-home dads if the woman really wants to work, or even if both want or need to work? This is where attendance goes down. Y'all came to hear this, have sex. And this is the part that people don't like. You want to go first? You want to soften them up? Then I'll... Oh, yeah. How about you take it from the woman's perspective?
Well, I would say it's hard to respect a man that's not willing to provide.
To our exclusive reporting this week on women in American society, a groundbreaking new study on the slow but steady shift in gender roles in a lot of families. Today, President Obama spoke exclusively to our White House correspondent Savannah Guthrie about the project we are calling A Woman's Nation, led by the First Lady of California, a longtime former member of our NBC family, Maria Shriver. The president also revealed some of his latest thinking on a large, looming decision. Savannah Guthrie with us tonight from the White House. Savannah, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. As you said, we did talk about the Shriver report, but we started with
drama, one family and the fallout in the recession. Here's a statistic. More than 80% of Americans laid off during the recession are men, which has led to a lot of dads staying at home with the kids while mom goes to work, the only support for the family. And our parenting contributor, Amplachette Murphy, says that this role reversal in some families is having a huge impact.
Rick Hemmert, a salesman from Ojai, California, used to spend his days calling on clients, not doing laundry.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
But since he was laid off last November, his time has been consumed by housework and the care of his 7-year-old daughter, Elizabeth. To keep the family afloat, his wife, Eleanor, also in sales, has increased her hours significantly, often getting up at 4 a.m. and coming home long after Elizabeth is in bed. Did you ever imagine that you'd be the breadwinner and he would be Mr. Mom?
Never. I don't even like to hear Mr. Mom.
The reversal of roles has turned their marriage upside down.
Okay, I got to get back to work. I have to get back to work.
Yeah. It's very humbling for me to be in this situation. It changes the dynamics of our relationship immensely.
I don't like coming home and seeing him in my apron.
How has it changed your feelings about Rick?
I wish I could say something different, but I've lost so much respect for him.
Although Eleanor's honesty is harsh, counselors say her feelings are quite common.
There's often in cases where couples are facing a role reversal that there's significant resentment. They end up punishing each other and withdrawing, and more tension develops in the home, and nobody benefits from that.
And you have to move that rock up, because it's just
you're overcooking it.
Especially children, who often suffer silently.
How do you feel when they get mad?
I have to go outside and go on the swing and just like swing and then until they stop and then I go upstairs.
She needs more medicine, the first one.
The Hemmerts are not only arguing more, they're sleeping in separate bedrooms, and the emotional pain is evident.
You know, in spite of being laid off, I feel like I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
When I get a phone call from my daughter and she says, Daddy, I don't feel well, can you pick me up from school? And I'm here and I'm able to do it. But the backhand is that I don't feel like I have the support from Eleanor.
And that's where the hurt comes from.
Yeah.
Is there any way other than his getting a job that he could be that man for you?
I mean, that's one of the basic things that most little girls grow up thinking, that the man is going to put a roof over her head. He's going to support the family.
We brought Rick and Eleanor together face to face to talk it out.
I just don't want her focus to be, I base your manhood on how many figures you bring home. Because I think when you get down to the root, the man is a person that can handle children, set up play dates. I mean, I would rather be out earning the living.
It turns out, Eleanor resents Rick's time with their daughter.
I'm a woman, I'm a mother, and Elizabeth is everything to me, so I want to be a mother first. You're all snuggly and warm, and I can't.
And both feel underappreciated.
I think a simple thank you would go a long, long distance, but she doesn't necessarily think she has to do that. It's not an easy process. I have to commit a good amount of time, sometimes even on Saturday and Sundays.
Do you feel that he appreciates the sacrifices that you're making?
No, I don't think he understands at all. I don't get that. You know, I really appreciate that you worked 14 hours today.
If I asked you to complete the sentence, I wish Rick would blank, what would you say?
I wish Rick would gain back my respect by either getting a job of any kind and treat me like a woman.
Rick, how would you complete that sentence?
Respect me for what I am and appreciate me for what I do. Because when you're out of work and you're home every day, you need somebody to boost you. And I need her to give me kind words and not degrading words.
How can you maybe lower the bar a little bit in terms of your expectations? And in the meantime, have fun together.
This is the closest that we have been in months, years, sitting this close together.
So much pain and
Yeah.
Is there any way other than his getting a job that he could be that man for you?
I mean, that's one of the basic things that most little girls grow up thinking, that the man is going to put a roof over her head.
Eleanor's
changed your feelings about Rick.
I wish I could say something different, but I've lost so much respect for him.
Letter here from Karen. If a mom works and the dad stays home with the children, does this have any psychological effect on the kids with respect to their relationships later in life? You talk a lot about stay-at-home moms, but I don't recall hearing much about what happens when the roles are reversed. Is it better for boys if the dad stays home, or does it matter? Well, this is one which gets very sensitive because in general, that means there are exceptions everywhere, okay? But in general, when the moms are working and the dads are at home, the moms, the women, the wives, tend to change their feelings somewhat about their husbands. They tend not to see them as the heroes, the warrior, the man, the caretaker, the provider, the protector. And those feelings are really very significant. And I have found over the years that there often is more marital strife when the roles are reversed. Whether you're a feminist or not, whether you like it or not, them's just the fact.